Do you think that I don't know, getting the way things happen in Kansas City, getting to Puebla, not getting a big contract, getting a 5 month contract, not exactly knowing what your future was going to be, and obviously at that point having some experience, and then obviously going into the national team camp and the World Cup. Do you think that that sort of drive pushed you to reach? Do you think you reached your ceiling? You hit the top level of what you were capable of as a player?
No, because I think you need to be at a higher level to reach that top level.
Oh,
And
so
I
if you
see
were
this
in a tougher environment than even Mexico, you might have been a better player than you were.
absolutely.
Okay.
And that I think that's a lot of the discourse we see online and social media today with fans feeling like it's a necessity for these American players to play at the highest of levels and even sooner, the better.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reality, iron sharpens iron. Like if I'm in a better setup, I've got better coaching, I've got better resources,
Fair.
my capacity for intake can be higher and my output could be greater. That's a reality. But I'm very pleased with the way I took advantage of certain opportunities and circumstances that came along the way. And especially in my time, I mean, you've been around for a long time, Jason. You know how much the landscape has changed. Like today,
Yeah,
I mean, some of these kids have a good season, one good season, and they're gone.
they're gone.
I
Yeah.
mean, even in Mexico, you're seeing kids forced into the national team picture that would have never happened before.
Mm.
There was a much more of a process, and you had to earn those stripes. And now, for better or worse, they're getting these opportunities at a much greater pace.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I mean, I'm always curious about. I mean, and look, this is about life. It doesn't matter you're a professional athlete, you're not. Things change in the world, and then you go, well, if I had come up now instead of 15 years ago, what opportunities would be available to me, or what I and I think that obviously is a weird path to go down because you don't know how it would have played out, right? If you
Yeah,
don't go
exactly.
to Mexico at 19 because you don't see any other options, maybe you don't end up following the path that you do.
Man, I've seen way too many Back to the Future movies. I don't want to. I don't want to move something
That's
because then.
that's something. Yeah, that's something. There's something to be that. I want to. This is obviously about your photo and about your story, and I'm glad we went back to this point. There's a whole pre Mexico trip, Herculez Gomez, that we've only kind of scratched the surface on. But I think in the last couple of minutes here, I want to ask you about how you envisioned your post playing career going. I mean, obviously you're a media personality now. You seem to work more than anybody else I know. You're working in multiple languages. You've helped create something with Football Americas that American soccer fans of all backgrounds, can find something in. What was your thought? I mean, when the moment came, okay, got to hang them up. Now what do I do?
My thought actually going into my latter years as a professional was so I had the situation with Cholos, my club that had my rights in Mexico. I had a 4-year contract with them, so I still had a year left in my contract, and they wanted to send me to a second division team, and they were like, "Hey, thing is, you'll make half the money that we owe you there, but you'll get to play." And I'm like, "That's not what I want to do." And sometimes in Mexico, they force you into situations where you say yes, so you don't stop playing. I was like, "Listen, I understand where I'm at in 34 years of age right now, 33, I think I was at the time 34. I'm not going to play in another World Cup, like pay me my money. They they like literally were trying to exhaust all options and they found Barcelona in Ecuador that like, hey, this team wants you. And I'm like, I'm not going to Ecuador. And then came in the New York Cosmos, who were
I didn't
willing
know
to
that.
pay me the exact dollar amount that they owed me, which was a pretty penny, to go play in New York.
Yeah.
And when I was at Tigres, they had tried to reach out to see if I was interested because they were willing to spend a transfer fee and make me a handsome offer to go to the NASL with the New York Cosmos. At this time, Raul was
Giovanni
playing for him.
Savarese was the head coach of that team.
I had spoken to Giovanni during the Cholos preseason where I'm training by myself and I'm living out of a hotel with my wife and I'm training literally, I shouldn't say by myself. I was training with the pilot program that they had, which is like a second division team, a U23 team, like on some dirt fields. And Giovanni calls me and he's like, "Hey, you would be valued here. We want you here. We're going to respect your contract, this and that. I want to build something. I want you to be part of it." And I remember telling Giovanni, respectfully how much I appreciated the interest and how much I appreciated, what they were asking and what they were willing to do. But I didn't want to go out like that, and I envisioned my career in a certain way. I had always the idea that I was going to work in front office.
Hmm.
Like I really thought that I wanted to be a sporting director. I really thought that roster construction, that negotiations, international player deals, whatever was something that I wanted to do. And I thought it would be out of sight, out of mind.
Hmm.
And I thanked them for the opportunity. And I took an 80% pay cut to go play for Toronto
Well,
with the idea of spend a few years more in Major League Soccer and transition to something like that. And then it really wasn't until Toronto, the first year we made the playoffs, we played against Montreal in the first round or playoff game, I should say,
yeah.
like a play in game in Montreal and lost 3-0. So that weekend, like the rest of the team started their playoffs. And MLS had, they would do the MLS Live, and they would have their own studio programming for whatnot. They invited me out, and it was in New York, and I went out and I had a fun time with those guys. And because of that, Fox actually called me during my vacation, and just one thing led to another, and it ended up where I worked Copa America, and they liked what they saw, and when the U.S. men's national team would play and the guys would get a call up, I would get a call up for Fox, and we'd be on the same plane traveling to the same place, except they would play and I would, go do my TV thing. And that's how it started.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, I started seeing kind of the front office work, and I was like, maybe that's not for me. And it just transitioned into this. And once I'm here, I want to be here. I've told ESPN, I've told them I don't want to be one of these guys who works in TV and it's a stop for me. It's a train station.
Yeah.
I don't want to use it to leverage something else. I want to be here for 30 plus years. This is what I want to do. I want to entertain. I've been accustomed to consuming the game in a different manner. And I feel like sometimes we don't have that in our landscape, especially in the media.
Sure.
And, it doesn't mean there's just a right way or a wrong way. It's just a different way. And I think I offer something different. And so far, I'm enjoying myself. You know how this is, Jason. I don't got to tell you, the day that I stop enjoying this,
Yeah.
I'm gone. I'm
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah. It's a different kind of attention now, and I'm curious how you kind of process that. Like, obviously, you start score, you get recognized every now and then by a diehard Galaxy fan in the early mid aughts, whatever that was. You score some goals for Puebla, and you're a superstar in Mexico, and now you're sort of one of the faces, one of the voices of American soccer. It's a different kind of attention.
It is because the American is different. And I say that because it's more sophisticated than ever before in how much they pay close attention to the game. I mean, they're U.S. men's national team fans, but they also consume Liga MX and they also consume the Premier League and La Liga, and they have their MLS team or whatever the case may be. There's no fooling these people. Like they're very quick to call you out if they don't agree. And
Yeah.
the dialogue, if it's respectful, is welcome. Like I've got no issue with that. But definitely the attention is different because I've got a platform that allows me to be on two different languages, right? Two different countries. So it's different, and the attention isn't what's, I guess, gets to me. It's when it becomes how can I say it? Sometimes it's not so pleasant. um, I've had cases. I have
Yeah,
cases on
sure.
social media. I have cases in person, whether it's in the States or in Mexico, where things are like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" And it's because of who you are, or what you represent, or what you said. So that's always new to me.
Sometimes it's not even what you said. It's just who you are. It's just that you have that
Uh,
gig, right?
you're
Yeah.
right. It's not even what I said because I have no allegiance to the Montreal Impact, but if they're playing in Conca Champions versus a Liga MX team, like I'm gonna get lots and lots of ats and mentions on social
Yeah.
media, and vice versa. There's a lot of people who ask why I defend Mexican soccer so much, and they're very vocal about that. And there's a traitor talk here and there, but it comes with the territory.
Sure.
That stuff's fine. It's when it's. I mean, I remember a Leagues Cup game the Leagues Cup Showcase. Do you remember when it was here in SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, and it was
Mm-hmm.
Club America, it was
Mm-hmm.
LAFC, it was the Galaxy and Chivas?
I remember.
I went to the Super Bowl, Jason, that year.
Yeah.
It didn't come close to the atmosphere. It was insane. It was SoFi Stadium was packed to the gills, and it was these passionate fan bases, MLS and Liga MX. It was the most crazy event I've ever been to, and I kid you not, I kid you not, I couldn't go to the bathroom because there was rows and crowds of people who would come up and talk to you, grab you,
Yeah.
ask you for pictures, sign this, sign that. Majority Latino. But one of the most comfortable things that I had happen to me was a drunk Galaxy fan come up to me and angrily say that I disrespect the team, that I don't love him anymore because I said that LAFC was overtaking him. And well, what do you know? Here we are and
Yeah.
everything.
I
But like
know.
in my face, drunk and like belligerent and almost like half in tears. But in my face, like, is this guy gonna do something? What's going on here? It can get a little weird.
All right, so I'll wrap it up here with a question about 19-year-old Herculez Gomez in that picture of the Estadio Azteca with your boys. And if you had a time machine and you went back to 2001 and you sat down next to that Herc and you said, "Hey, this is what's going to happen. This is your career." Is that version of Herculez Gomez like, "Yo, that's great. I'm in for that." Or what does he think of the career that you've had in every way?
Absolutely. I think that version of Herc would say, "Sign me up," just because of the opportunities I had or didn't have at my disposal. Like I think I've overachieved on the field, off the field. Uh, I firmly believe one of my better traits is self awareness. Like I had no business going as far as I did. I have no business being in TV for as long as I have, to be quite honest, or the opportunities that have been afforded to me. But it's been a wild ride, and I would, in a heartbeat, take that. What I would do is want to record all that because not so much to let's sell it, let's become a TV show or documentary, but because I think nowadays people think things are given, and I don't know. I don't have to tell you this, but there is so much that goes behind the scenes, the grind,
Yeah.
the bad moments, the failures that we have in life that kind of set you up for when you actually have that opportunity and it goes well. Like there's
Mm,
so much of that I think it's lost today, you know,
mm.
and especially as we're talking about, we could apply this to the game, but just in life, like I, there's nothing given.
Yeah.
And I think the moment people realize that and they can see things like that, the better. And even today, these kids, the Ricardo Pepis, the Sendejas, like that's great, but they're not here without the Jose Torres, the Edgar Castillos,
Mm-hmm. The
the
Herculez
Mies.
Gomez is.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not here
for
without
sure.
the Marcelo Balboas,
Yeah.
the Wilmer or the Hugo Perez of the world, the
Fernando
Fernando
Clavillo.
Clavijos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's I think a lot of that it could be valuable for others.
You speak about recording, and I didn't ask you about the camcorder in your hand. I thought you were like, what were you doing over here? You were trying to record the game from your nosebleed seats? Is that what? Or your boys? You're getting your boys on camera.
Dude, I didn't even realize that, but I guess I was doing this before we even started. Like it's funny because the 2002 MLS Cup in Gillette Stadium, when that happened, the first go around, it was a 1-0 win by the Galaxy. There's a picture, and we're all in the locker room celebrating.
Yeah.
The championship shirts and the alcohol and whatnot. And I have a picture where I'm doing a selfie before the selfie is even popular.
You invented the selfie.
That's right. I have proof of that.
That's amazing. Herculez Gomez, thank you very much, man. Incredible conversation. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Jay.